afternoon, good evening, and namaste to all the wonderful women and men who have joined us on today's webinar. Today on the webinar, GLOW webinar, which stands for Genuine Loving Outstanding Women, we have Ms. Claudette Chenoweth from Virginia in the USA. Hello, Claudette.
Hi, Pranima. How are you?
Very good, thank you. How are you doing today?
Very good, thank you.
So Claudette is known as a stepmom coach, and she works with stepmothers who are struggling to create a cohesive family. Claudette is a master certified step family foundation coach, and she helps stepmothers build and create strong and healthy step families and helps them focus on what they want as a woman, as a partner, and as a parent. She offers online support groups, self-study programs, and one-on-one coaching sessions. Her book, The Step Mom's Book of Boundaries, How and Where to Draw the Line for a Happier, Healthier Step Family is available on Amazon. Congratulations on that, Claudette.
Thank you. So I'm very happy and proud about my book, and it's, as you said, it's available on Amazon. So thank you for that.
Our pleasure. So before we actually start the webinar, let me share a few significant things about the Heartfulness Institute and about the Heartfulness Meditation, who host the GLOW webinars. Heartfulness Meditation is available in more than 130 countries with thousands of volunteers and certified trainers in different parts of the world. Heartfulness Meditation and other holistic tools are available as workshops and customized programs in corporates, schools, universities, and local communities. Here at the Heartfulness Institute, we continuously find unique and interesting ways to bring heartfulness meditation and its benefits to everyone. We learn to meditate on the source of light in the heart which is the seat of love and joy. A special and unique feature of this specific unique meditation is meditating in the presence of yogic transmission or pranahuti, which is imparted by the guide, global guide, or the trainer. GLOW webinars designed especially for women, by women, and for the benefit of women to learn meditation from the comfort of our homes or from the click of a mouse button is one such unique initiative where you can learn to meditate from just anywhere in the world by logging into these webinars. So Claudette, thank you for joining us today, and thank you for going to speak about such an important topic about the value and importance of something as unique as boundaries, individual boundaries, and cohesive family boundary units. Welcome to the webinar once again, Claudette.
Thank you, Pranima. I'm very excited to share with you and your audience about the importance of boundaries, as you just mentioned.
Thank you. So let's just jumpstart and before we actually start talking about boundaries, tell us, what do you think about a family unit, and what does a family actually impart to a children? Because when you want to speak about boundaries within a family unit, what exactly is the relevance of a family in the psyche of a child or as an individual? So let's begin from there.
Well, today families are defined very differently from the time that our parents and grandparents were families. And so families have grown, have expanded to include grandparents, parents. With step families, we're talking about ex-partners, ex-wives, ex-husbands. And so that means there's also stepchildren and half-siblings. So families today are very different and very cohesive in ways that are, very unique. So each family is unique to different circumstances, different situations. There's no one size fits all when we're talking about family. And so when it comes to understanding a family, it's important for us to define family for ourselves as a family unit, as what our individual home feels like a family is. And so, for example, some people will define a family, friends and co-workers are part of their family, right? Because they live together, they do a lot of activities together, maybe they work all the time, and so they feel like they're a family. If you're in sports, people feel they're a family. If you go to church, or if you're in part of a spiritual path, that can be defined as a family. So a family is how you feel you defined it. No one can really tell you that you are part of a family or you're not part of a family.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much, Claudette. So, like you mentioned, today the family unit as such is, paradoxically speaking, also becoming smaller and at the same time also becoming larger. And, you are called as the stepmom coach out there in the virtual world. So, tell us a little bit about step families. They are a predominant form of family system today. So surely, just like all family systems, a step family is also going to face a lot of challenges. So let's talk a little bit about that and then move on from there.
Excellent. So, yes, today step families are a predominant family in that there are more step families now than they were before, in that because of divorce, because of single women having children on their own, and then later on finding a partner, either living together or getting married. There are more and more step families, and the challenges of step families are very unique in that, as if you are in a traditional or a nuclear family, you're a unit where you don't have external parents. Let's say you don't have a parent that's also involved in raising your children. Now, if you have grandparents that live with you, that's another family dynamics, right? But when you're in a step family, you have an ex-wife, an ex-husband that are telling you how to raise your children, and that can be very difficult, especially for a step parent coming in. Specifically, stepmoms are having a lot more challenges than stepdads, in that society sees women as the primary caregiver of children. And so when you have two or more people taking care of the children and they're all women, it can be a challenge in that you don't understand what your role is. You're trying to understand what is it you're supposed to be doing. You sometimes feel you're excluded. You're not part of the family. And so it becomes very hard to be a parent to children that are not your own, and to have children look up to you and respect you and see you as part of the family as well.
Yeah, that. Thank you so much, Claudette. It throws light into those challenges. So, moving on, can you tell us a little bit about the cohesiveness in a family? Why is it important? How is it important? What difference does it make and in such family systems, and also generally in a family? The cohesiveness between different family members.
So what I mean by being cohesive is that you don't necessarily have to all agree, but you can come together to create a unit. Meaning that, you come from different parts of a family background, and you're creating a new system, a new dimension of a family. So think of it this way, when you were born from a family that had their history, their way of dealing with different situations. You are dealing with, you had traditions and rituals, and your partner had some of his rituals and traditions and history with their family. And so these are two different kinds of traditions and system. And so when you're coming together, you're creating a third kind of family dynamics, and you're trying to create something that you can come together and depend on one another. And so it can be difficult because that means you need to relearn how the other person is. You're trying to understand how to merge and adapt to one another. And so that's what I mean by being cohesive. For some people, you could have people who are used to having family over. Like, for example, my husband loved to have his family over, and they were very tight-knit family. In my family, we didn't visit one another so much. We didn't spend a lot of time together as a family. And so when we both came together, we had different ideas of what a family system looked like and how to function. And so that meant that we needed to create new rituals, new definition of what it meant to be together, and ideas of, spending time together as a family.
And it's totally understandable. I can totally understand that. There are different ways each person bonds with the other. Each person bonds as their own family. And then when two great families come together, like the merging of two huge rivers, it poses its own different uniqueness in terms of both positives and negatives. So when you talk about the relevance of cohesiveness, I'm wondering, is that why you wrote this book about boundaries? Why did you exactly write this book, and how did this book come to be?
So the reason I wrote the book on boundaries was, for me personally, I had issues with boundaries. I was the type of person when I grew up who always tested boundaries. And so I wasn't surprised that our kids did the same, right? What we do to others, we get back. And so our children tended to test our boundaries. What was a problem for us was that we tended to support each our own children. So when my son did something, I was more permissive around what he did. And when my husband did something, or when his daughters did something, he tended to be more permissive around his daughters. And so our boundaries were not cohesive. They weren't geared towards what we wanted as a family. They were divided. And so the idea of boundaries is to create a system or a set of rules in a home that makes everyone feel safe and secure. So when we have boundaries, whether it's for our home or work or anywhere in our life, boundaries are meant to keep us safe, secure, and to let other people know what is okay and what is not okay to do in our lives. And so it's important to understand what boundaries are important for us, and to take the time to ask ourselves, why is this important for me? For example, one of the boundaries that I have is personal space. And so, when you're walking into a public space, some people tend to be close to you and really hang close to you. And for me, that is something that is more difficult to deal with. And the same at home, right? So some people like to be hugged. I have family members who don't like to be hugged or touched. And so those are boundaries they have. Like, to understand for them that it's not okay for other people to touch them or hug them or be close to them. And so boundaries is more around making our family life more enjoyable for everybody, to make family life safe and secure, so that when you come together, you understand what is okay and not okay with everybody.
Okay, thank you so much. So this is why boundaries are so important. And as we speak, I've just received a question from one of the participants, where she asks me, just as how my boundaries are important for me, the other person's boundary are important for him or her, and how do we really understand each other's boundaries? How do we understand the uniqueness, and how do we respect and treasure and cherish each other's boundaries, and at the same time work together as a family unit when those boundaries are not along the same lines?
And that is such an important question, right? And I like to think of it as you start with a vision, a family vision. What is it you want for your family as a legacy? So, as parents, our role is to raise children so that our children can feel secure and safe, know that they're loved, and know that they can eventually grow and create their own family. And so when you have a family vision, when you talk about what is your goal as a couple, as a family, whether it's just you and your partner, or even as if you have your grandparents and aunts and uncles as an entire unit, what is it you want to see your children and grandchildren to grow up with in? And what is it, the message you want them to take away when they grow up? And so part of setting healthy boundaries is understanding what that message is. What is the vision you want for them? And so part of it is to understand that you look at what is most important to you, and then what are things that are like, it's important, but they're not deal breakers. By that I mean, there are people for which coming into my room or coming into my house, if you're not invited, would be a definite deal breaker, and for other people it's not. So what I recommend is for people to make a list, or for each people to make a list. For the mother and the father, make a list of what is important to you, and to rate it from 1 to 10. What is the most important? And 10 would be the most important, and number 1 is like, it doesn't really matter to me if it's a boundary or not. And then once you decide what is the most important, then you come together as a couple and you have a conversation. And the conversation is around, sharing what you want to see as a boundary, not as you need to follow this or else, but to try to understand why is it important to you. So it's more of a conversation to understand one another. So once you've had that conversation, then try to figure out ways that you can honor and respect the boundary someone asked. So for example, for me, one of a boundary that was really important to me, especially when the kids were younger, was that my bedroom was to be off limits to the children. For me, that was my sanctuary. It was a place where I could be re-energize myself, a place where I could meditate or read or just spend time alone for myself. But that was an important place. For my husband, our bedroom was an open door. He didn't care if the kids came in. So we had a conversation about why it was important to me and why it was not important to him. And we came to a compromise where if I'm at home and the kids needed something in our bedroom, they could knock and come in, as long as I wasn't doing something. So those are some of an example of setting boundaries that may not be the same for one person or the another.
Thank you, Claudette. That is a very interesting perspective. That's a very interesting perspective, because these are just tiny, tiny things, apparently, when you look at them, but they go a long way in the sense each individual has their own unique idiosyncrasies, unique personalities, and it's just amazing how these things come into play when you look at all of us as one big whole family unit in this world, at the same time unique as 1 billion individuals or 8 billion individuals. This is such an interesting perspective for all of us to think about in the sense how to respect each other's boundaries, and at the same time how to feel content and how to be involved and part of each other's life. So I take it.
I have something to add to what you just said there is that because it's always the little things that can make it very challenging to be in a relationship. It's not the big things. It's um the little differences in our relationship that can over time build resentment and frustration. And so when we don't voice it, when we don't express ourselves, not for the purpose of being right or wrong, but for the purpose of sharing, this is something that bothers me. Can we have a conversation about it? And can we find a solution to help deal with it? And so this is why it's important to understand each person's boundaries and how important they are to one another, and also respect. You mentioned respect, which is very important in honoring and in another person's boundaries. You may not agree with that person, but to respect what their wishes are is showing that you care about them and you love them very much.
Thank you. Those are pointers for creating healthy boundaries. Those are pointers for creating a healthy family unit per se, no matter what kind of family it is. Do you want to add something more, or in terms of creating healthy boundaries? In terms of creating, yes, please do so. Do so.
So understand that when you're creating boundaries, it's an ongoing task. It's not something that you do once and you never have to revisit again. Setting boundaries means that every time there's something different happening in your family, whether you're moving, maybe you're changing jobs, maybe you're having more children, maybe you're having people come and live with you, whatever the situation, whenever a situation changes in your life, it is always a good idea to sit down together and as a family, right, involve the children, especially if they're older, or the grandparents, or whoever is in your family. Invite them to have a conversation about boundaries and understand what it is they're seeking and what is important to them. And this way, what you're doing is you're creating a stronger relationship as a family. You're creating a stronger sense of community within your home. You're also creating a safe space for the people in your home to feel like, yes, I can be in this family, I can be in this relationship, I can be myself, and know that I'm not going to be criticized or judged or cast out because I may be different from everybody else. So it gives you an opportunity to have those kinds of conversations so you can build stronger and healthier relationships within the home.
Thank you so much, Claudette. So you mentioned that you also take time out to meditate in your sanctuary. So would you like to say something about that? How has that helped you in this journey when you're trying to create boundaries?
So meditation is an important piece of my self-care in that it helps to ground me and it helps to quiet my mind. Sometimes our mind tells us stories, and sometimes those stories are not true, and we're talking about people thinking or imagining what other people are thinking about us. So for me, meditation quiets my mind, calms me down, helps me to think more clearly, right? So when the mind is quiet, when the mind is calm, you're able to think more clearly about what it is you want for yourself and what it is you want for your family. And so meditation is an important piece in creating healthy boundaries, whether or journaling. That's another thing I do. I also journal. But when you meditate is you have clearer thoughts, and you're not making decisions, or you're not creating boundaries out of anger or out of punishment or out of spite. The boundaries you're creating are based on more love and inclusiveness. And you're thinking of everybody when you're thinking of setting boundaries, especially after you've taken the time to meditate about what it is you want for your family. And so when I talked about creating a vision, meditation is a great way of finding a vision for your family, or at least understanding what your vision for your family is.
Wow. Thank you so much, Claudette. Thank you so much. So that was really amazing. That's so interesting the way you put it, as to meditation helping you to not only create a boundary, but a boundary which is more inclusive of love. The boundary is set as a way to enhance love, to enhance inclusiveness. Though that sounds so paradoxical, I really understand. I can totally understand what that means. And thank you for also mentioning that meditation helps you create a vision for your family, which is totally based on love and compassion and empathy. And that's probably, a very important thing in today's times, when we are in the times of selfies and in the times of social media, when we actually create this cohesiveness, this community within our own family, which only then can extend towards being a community of love outside in the society. So thank you for this beautiful, beautiful webinar, this beautiful interview between us. And though there are a few more questions from the participants, I'm going to take them offline. And I request the participants to write to us at glow, Glow, glow at heartfulness.org. And Claudette will answer all your questions. And you can also be in touch with Claudette for any future courses or programs. Thank you so much. So on that note, when we speak about meditation, I would suggest that let us have an experiential session of heartfulness meditation today. And for the viewers who have not experienced any kind of meditation or any kind of such exercises, or if you have not experienced heartfulness meditation specifically, that is all completely perfectly okay, because today will be a first session of meditation and you do not need to have any prior experience for this. So let us begin with a short relaxation technique. I will go through these relaxation commands, and which will help you relax your body. And towards the end of the relaxation, we'll all meditate together for a few minutes. We'll meditate on the source of light and love in our heart. And if you like it, you should continue it. So let's begin now. Sit comfortably and close your eyes. Let's begin from the toes. Relax your toes. Relax your feet. Feel the energy from Mother Earth rising up to your feet. This energy moves upwards, relaxing your legs, relaxing your knees, relaxing your thighs. And slowly, as this energy moves up, your hips are relaxed. Your lower back is relaxing. And this energy moves up to your upper back, relaxing your upper back. Your whole back is completely relaxed now. Gently bring your attention to your stomach. Relax your stomach. Relax your chest, shoulders, and this energy moves up and beyond and into your arms, relaxing your forearms, your elbows, your wrist, palm, fingers, till the tip of your fingertips. As this energy courses through your arms, they are completely relaxed. Feel this energy moving up towards your neck, through your neck, relaxing your neck. Any tension and stiffness in your neck melts away. Relax your face, your facial muscles, your jaws, ears, cheeks, lips, nose, eyes, forehead, till the tip of your head. All the muscles are completely relaxed. As you feel your body completely relaxing, slowly, gently bring your attention to your heart, the heart which is the source of light and love, and meditate on the source of light in your heart. If your mind wanders around with other thoughts, gently but firmly bring your attention back to your heart and meditate on the source of light. And as you continue meditating on this source of light, it pulls you inwards, deepening your meditative experience. Let's begin and meditate together in this way for a few minutes. Whenever you're ready, please open your eyes. I thank all of you, the participants and Claudette, for joining us today in this experiential session of heartfulness, relaxation, and meditation. Today you meditated. You meditated in the presence of yogic transmission or pranahuti, as we say, and this is one of the unique things in this specific meditation. So, if you would like to continue this meditation, and I really recommend and suggest that you do that, please log into our website heartfulness.org, and you can contact a trainer by checking out the Heartspots link, which is heartspots.heartfulness.org, and you can key in your nearest residential address or your location, and the system will pop up with a few trainers who are closest to your location. You can also locate the heartfulness centers all over the world from this website. If you want to meditate along with a trainer, you can go and meet the trainer or go to the heartfulness center. But of all this is really difficult. You can download the Hearts app from the Google Play Store, and at any point in time there are at least thousands of trainers logged in and ready to conduct a heartfulness session, which is one-on-one and individual session for you. So please, I really recommend that you download this mobile app, Hearts app. If you have any feedback about the webinar, please write to glow@heartfulness.org. If you have any suggestions for improvement, if you have any suggestions for topics which you would like to see on the webinar, listen to on the webinar, if you want to recommend somebody as a speaker, or if you want to join us as a speaker for anything about future recommendations about the webinar, please write to glow@heartfulness.org. This webinar will be put up on the website in this location, and you can go and watch this recording at any time whenever you feel like checking back on Cloudhead once again. For regular updates about Glow, about heartfulness webinars, you can check out this Facebook page, and all future webinars are updated in this Facebook page. Thank you so much to all of you who joined us in this webinar, and it's really been a pleasure talking with Claudette and listening to her from her wisdom. So thank you so much, Claudette, for joining us today, and thank you so much for sharing your beautiful wisdom with us. And one thing which really is my takeaway from today's webinar is boundaries are something which should be inclusive, and boundaries are something which should have a foundation on love. So thank you for the beautiful takeaway, which is my personal takeaway. And if you have any closing comments, if you have any last minute wisdom for our viewers, this is your time.
Well, thank you, Pranima, for having me as your guest and allowing me this platform to share about my passion about step families and my book on step family, the book of boundaries, that's available on Amazon. And if you're interested in finding more about boundaries, you can go to my website at stepmomcoach.com and sign up for a tip sheet on boundaries. So I will have that and the comments on the website on the Facebook page. So if you want to go there on the Facebook page of Heartfulness, I will definitely share a link about um, getting some tips on boundaries. Again, thank you so much. I enjoyed this meditation. It will help me throughout the rest of the evening and day. And again, thank you for having me as your guest.
It was our pleasure as well. Thank you so much.